We are recording. Hey everyone, good morning, afternoon, evening, good night, depending on where you are. Welcome to this PTC webinar. I'm your host, Nisarg Desai. I'm the head of chapter for Boston at Products That Count. And this is March 2025. So depending on whether you're joining us live, thank you for joining us, or if you're watching it in the future on YouTube, really happy to have you here and really happy to have you be a part of this. So, what is this about? What are we going to talk about today? Before we get into that, I really want to say it's super awesome to really reach out, connect, talk to the larger product management community. Really happy to see the engagement that we get through Products Account. And we hope that you find today's webinar valuable. As a reminder, I do one of these every month. We have a different topic every month. Today's topic is something that's very close to my heart and something that's going to be super useful for all new budding product managers, but also product marketers out there. We also have a special guest who I've had a chance to watch in action before, so that is also cool. Before I give too much away, I want to say that I get often asked, right? Hey, how do I get ahead in my PM career? How do I break in? How do I get to the next rung in the ladder? How do I get promoted? How do I show impact? And I think one of the real PM superpowers is being able to advocate for yourself. And there's no real or better way to do that than having a super strong tie with your product marketing counterparts. If you can be a really good product manager, but if you can be a great product marketer, you can really take your career to the next level. Not just being able to promote and advertise what you are done, what you have done, or what you are working on, or the impact of your work, but actually make sure that the stuff that you're doing and working on reaches the right audience, and then you can see the effect multiply. But I won't give too much away. Today's guest is someone who I worked with in the past. I like all of us to welcome Josh Fu, who is the Vice President of Product Marketing at BeyondTrust. Hey, Josh, welcome.
And yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here and everything you just said. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. That was perfect.
That's awesome, Josh. Thank you so much for doing this with us. So we'll do something a little different today. We're not going to do just a presentation, although we have a few slides. We're going to do a back and forth between Josh and I. Josh and I know each other. We work together at Lacework, and we'll talk about our journey in a little bit. But we're going to do like almost a podcast style video webinar, if that even makes sense. But we're going to talk about our respective journeys, our backgrounds, how we work together, how can product management and product marketing work really well together to really amplify the impact of our products, our solutions. So why don't we get started with the slides you have, Josh? I'll get into an intro for myself, and then I'll ask you for your intro.
Sounds perfect. So let me get started there.
Awesome. So we'll talk about. I'll let Josh talk about MVP because he and I might have different views on that. But my name is Nisarg Desai. In my day job, when I'm not doing webinars for PTC, I am the director of product management at Huntress. Huntress is a cybersecurity company where we provide solutions, cybersecurity, for folks that are below the security poverty line. What that means is if you're huge and have billions of dollars and can afford the best cybersecurity, great, go for it. But for those that can't do that and need really amazing, impactful protection, but can't really afford the most premium protection or the most premium price protection, you come to Huntress. We are a managed cybersecurity product. We'll take care of your needs. I've been in product management for the past decade, been in software for the past, 16 or so years now. And let's see here. What do I do? Why did I become a product manager? I love building products. I love solving customer problems, but most importantly, I love building products that solve customer problems that somebody will pay for. So I love that being at that exact crux of a cool idea that we can implement that solves a pain point that's important enough for somebody to pay money for. So for me, being able to create products and direct product teams is what led me to where I am as a director of product at Huntress. And my specific forte is in building cybersecurity platforms. So I love building products, I love building point features, but I really am all about that multiplier effect, which is why um, over the last several years, I have moved into platform product management. And there's an interesting discussion to be had later on in this webinar about how platform product managers can work with product marketers because it's quite different than how feature product managers can do that. I have been the PTC head of chapter for the last, gosh, it's almost been a year now. I've loved doing these webinars. Um, Sneak preview, summer of this year in Boston. We'll be hoping to host some in-person events, so they are coming back now. So hopefully I'll see some of the people there. But I have a whole year planned of these webinars every single month on different topics. And today's happens to be about MVP. But before we go there, Josh, why don't I turn this over to you for you to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, sounds good. And you make a really good point about platforms because platforms truly are different than feature products or point products. And I've worked at both companies. In fact, right now at BeyondTrust, I'm at a platform company. It has been a series actually of different products that have been now put together, and it's really fascinating because as we're making this shift, we've built the platform, we've built the underlying plumbing, and it's really different than hey, here's just 1 + 1 + 1, but it's really around what does 1 + 1 = 3 mean? And how do we make that integrated aspect and really a true value add experience for the customers? And that's a lot of what I'm doing at BeyondTrust these days. So I lead a team, and we have a team covering all the different products. And it's really interesting because the different personas that go with each one. So while I'm in a lot of meetings these days, I do spend a lot of my time writing content, and I really help make sure that we know exactly how to market this to our customers and to the ideal customer profile and who is going to use this, who's going to gain the most benefit from this. But I spend a lot of time with the product management team too, because without that partnership, I don't understand what's going on and why it's valuable to the customers. So this is really for me, in many ways, a culmination of my journey to get here because I joke that no one becomes a product marketer on purpose. We all get here by accident in some way. So I really came here because I started actually being channel facing, then a hands-on keyboard person, and then got into cybersecurity and started actually at a threat intel company. And we worked with SIM technologies, firewalls, IDS systems. And from there, I got into machine learning because I was at an antivirus company. And that was truly special because I didn't believe it at first. And then the closer I got under the hood, I realized, oh, wow, this is truly something special. So that's what really, in many ways, started my journey because I really, really got deep into the product. I would speak with the product management team, and I ended up speaking actually at a lot of events. And like you said, you really dial into what the customer cares about because of the fact that they really resonate with, hey, not only do I trust how this person explains it to me, but they explain this complex topic and set of really deep capabilities, but in plain English to why it matters to them. And that's why I really loved working with you because in Lacework, we got to work on a very complex product, and it was really powerful under the hood with everything that I was doing with machine learning, and it was really that next leap beyond where I started. But at the end of the day, we have to talk about, hey, what is the outcome that this really derived for our customers, not just, hey, here is the underlying feature set and here's all the underlying data and every connection and what neural networks are. But really at the end of the day, like I said, they care about what does this do for me that I can't get with something else. So that's really, really powerful and why I love being in product marketing because of what it really is in this partnership perspective, which is why I love this aspect of us being a true partner. And it was a very special time for us to get to do this because, you know, I think every product marketer, in order to be successful, like you said, they need to be able to be a strong partner to their product management team and to their product management partner, as it were. Because even though they're not going to be as technical, I know I'm not as technical as you, but I at least need to understand what's going on under the hood in order to be able to talk to what that customer cares about and why this matters to them.
Yeah, well, but you have bigger biceps though, which is a clear point that you're making there from that image. So I will give you that. No, I love working with you, Josh. It was awesome. I remember actually a long time back, I interviewed you at the role at Lacework before you even joined, and I think the partnership has continued
Yeah,
since
that's
then.
right.
Yeah, and we had some amazing launches about a time at Lacework. Before we move on, actually, we have several folks who are in the audience. So while we can't see you or interact with you, please use the or chat with you. Please use the Q&A function from Zoom. Send us your questions. We would love for this to be interactive, to take questions live, and let's try and make this interactive. So send the questions in. We'll try to answer them live. I will pause Josh the right moment to ask those questions, but let's have some fun.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. I'm looking forward to the questions. I hope there's some really good ones that come out of there, and I'm sure they'll be great. But yeah, since Lacework, I'd love to know what you've been doing at Huntress, and how's it been going over there?
Absolutely. I think so at Lacework, as you know, a recap, I was leading the product management team that was focused very much on security efficacy and insights, basically finding the bad stuff in our, the needle in the haystack in our customers' cloud environments. Huntress is actually on the other side of the spectrum. I'm leading and building the platform which all of our products are built on, are going to be built on, but it's not at the cloud side of the house. It's back at the endpoint and identity side of the house. So if you think about all the different companies out there, we all have our laptops, our machines, our phones, our online presences, our hardware presences. All of these are different attack vectors. And what we find is most of our customers are, or many of them, are small, medium businesses, doctors' offices, restaurants, clinics, and they get ransomed. Their data gets encrypted, and then hackers, organized cyber criminals will ransom them and ask for money, Bitcoin usually, before they will decrypt those machines. So this will bring a standstill to these people's businesses, their lives. Many of them go bankrupt, and that is what we try to protect them from. So what I'm doing, building the platform where all of these products can be built, so we can go and protect these folks from organized cybercrime.
Nice. Yeah, what I really like about that is, you talked about, hey, this kind of the state of how things are. And if I'm talking to, let's say, aspiring product marketers on here, I'm really thinking about, okay, you guys are doing a great job protecting against ransomware. This is a problem, especially when you're a mom and pop shop. You don't necessarily have the tools or the skills or the budget really to hire someone in security to really be that person in the way that, let's say, a larger company that has a SOC, and SOCs are for those mature companies, but even a security team, I, it's great that this option exists for them. But what I also really liked is that you talked about, okay, at the end of the day, yes, cyber threats are a thing, but it really stops their business. And I remember there was something that we did actually for some of our customers, which was, hey, look, we're going to actually calculate the downtime for your
Mm,
manufacturing plant because ransomware affects them too. And every minute that they're down equates to a certain dollar amount. So for one particular customer, I think it was something like every minute equated to $200,000. So if it was something like 3 hours, I forget what the math is exactly. I'm not going to try and do it live right
yeah.
now, but clearly that is going to be a much bigger number than what we were going to quote them. So it was something where they recognized it. They actually had us do some efficacy tests for antivirus, and I mean, we actually were able to, prove to them and to the business that we were the right solution for them, and that it also made business sense for us to partner with them. And it was great because I partnered with the PM to really understand, hey, what types of ransomware can we work against? Can we work in these OT environments or ICS
Mm.
systems? Because again, manufacturing, it's a bit different. But it was really great to have that partnership. And to your point earlier about, hey, to be successful and to help my product manager be successful, hey, we're a partnership, and with them, we're able to really elevate this and really make a great case actually within the business, tell the rest of the business in terms of our internal vendor business that hey, we are able to do this together. So for me,
Yeah.
that was a really cool win.
That's a great point there you bring up. So, the lesson that I take away from that example, Josh, is um, you went this specific customer whose, plant factory would have had downtime. You're not saying, oh, use my antivirus, use my solution, use my EDR because it's better than blah, 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 blah. It's about talking to them, not about your product, your features, which the PM has built, but it's about what is the value to you? What is the value to you as a customer? Hey, the value to you is we are going to prevent, of $10 million off your losses because of downtime. They don't care about the solution or your features or what your product looks like. It's like in their language, in their speak, the cost or the value, sorry, of the solution is it helps me prevent downtime. And I think that is the value that awesome product marketers bring out from the product, which is why this partnership works. Because we build awesome products, but then the value of that is really brought out by the product marketers.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's actually a really good podcast that I like to listen to, and they
Hmm.
really talk about, hey, what does not only good marketing look like, but what does bad marketing look like? And
Hmm.
one of the number one things that they say is it is when the marketers they only talk about their own products, their own features, and they don't talk about the customer issues and how they're going to help them and really educate, like, hey, here's what you can take away from this, even if you don't buy our product. So really establishing that trust and credibility, super important. So it's really awesome that you guys are doing that. In fact, I was reading one of the blogs on your website, and it was about the mean time to response and how you guys are able to do that in 8 minutes. So I actually want to ask you about that. How did you, and I think the product marketer in that one, his name is Seth. How did you guys go about that one?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we were, we have a SOC. So at Huntress, we have a managed product. We look at the telemetry, data comes in, and we say, cool, here's all the bad stuff going on. What's the most important stuff? We give that to our SOC analysts, our security practitioners who look at that and say, this is bad, this isn't bad, here's what's going on. This is what needs to be sent to the customer to say, hey, this is really bad, go do this now. Or let us go do this on your behalf now. And that's the value that a SOC provides. The We are thinking of, okay, cool, we have an amazing SOC. There's some awesome people in there who have amazing credentials. They go on conferences. We can talk about the papers they write or what research we've done. We can talk about how big our SOC is. We can talk about all these different things. And ultimately, we realize that those things are all important. But if I'm a customer, uh, I'm thinking of, cool, something really bad's happening in my house. How soon can you come? And something that's happening right now, 911, they have a response time, they have an SLO. And we're like, cool, it's really important for me to assure our customers that, hey, across our huge customer base of millions of endpoints over time, it doesn't matter how big or small or what tech we have, we can tell you that we will be, on average, protecting your estates in under 8 minutes. And that is the value that if I distill everything out, that's what my PM provided. That, hey, it doesn't matter if you have these queues and these pipelines and these databases and this tech that you've built. What really matters to them is how soon will you be in my house to protect me? And in this case, how soon will you be in my estate to protect me? And the answer was 8 minutes.
And that's awesome. Uh, that's really cool that you guys are able to get that kind of real quantifiable data. Uh,
Yeah.
I, I joke that the reason why I actually am, uh, you know, I like to think I'm pretty confident in my job, but I like to joke that the reason I am is because of the fact that I spent, 10 plus years actually on the field talking to customers, starting off again as a channel manager, but then I was hands-on keyboard working on infrastructure, then I was a sales engineer, and I actually got to speak at a lot of conferences because I started with,
Hmm.
one just saying, hey, I'd like to, be at my local ISSA chapter and talk about threat intel and how to build one using open source tools. And hey, if you don't want to do that, here's what you can do to purchase one and deliver that kind of value to them. But it was great just because of the fact that hey, people they want to see stats, they want to see how long would it take me to do this myself. And when they saw, okay, if I have to, figure out which tool, and then I have to stand it up, and then I have to constantly manually apply the updates, and then I have to do an integration with this other component that I found on GitHub and make sure that those integrate. And hey, if something breaks, I got to do my own support or post in a forum. How long does that take before I have even integrated any threat intel? So
Hmm.
that was something where it's really just great to see, oh, I can save myself hours, days, weeks, and have someone else do it in, like you said, 8 minutes. So that's really awesome that you guys are able to provide that kind of value to them.
Yeah, exactly. And Josh, can you touch upon this a little bit more? Can you talk about we spoke about, hey, that is awesome, cool thing. Help me talk about the value to a customer. That's one definite partnership. The other partnership that I've seen is when product marketing is brought in early to the product management table, and we are co-working something together. So, one cool example is not simply, hey, how will you market this or sell this or take it to market? How will this actually resonate? Can I do something different from the get-go? Am I thinking about the go-to-market aspect of my feature right at the definition requirement stage? And I've found it very powerful for product marketing to be brought into that stage and actually help mold what we build, not just how we sell it. um, any thoughts on that? Any examples or things to share on that one?
Yeah, actually, the one that comes to mind is when I first joined Lacework, and I had just kind of met you, via the recruitment process and all that. But I think it was maybe week one. I was still learning what the platform is. I was checking everything out, but I was asking, all right, so now that I kind of know what I do here, and I kind of know here's what we do. Uh, what are we releasing soon? And I think it was either you or Dan told me, oh, there's this new Kubernetes rule for composite alerts that was coming out, and I think it was coming out in about 2 months, and you had just started working on it. So that one for me, I was thinking, oh, thank goodness Nisarg knows to include me so early because I think it was just like barely in the Jira process or something.
Yeah.
And maybe labs had just started, but we really started road mapping. Okay, why does this matter? How do we plan this out so that we know, all right, not only is the field enabled, but we can get our SEs enabled. We have this in the tenant. So we have everything kind of that we need ready to go. And what were really the key takeaways? So for me, I was really proud because when it came to presentation day internally, uh, we started with the challenge. We agreed on those things. We talked about what this did. We got into the weeds, but we started with what is the outcome. And then at the end of it, we had the three key takeaways and the call to action. And I felt so proud because later I was looking at the feedback and Nolan, he wrote in there, oh my goodness, and he closed with exactly what we need to remember and what to do, sign me up. So I was so happy to see that. But I had you to thank for that because of the fact that you looped me in like 2 months early and it was my first week. So just thank you for that.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think it's really a partnership, right? You really, for any PMs out there, if you're not doing it already, please bring your PMMs in to the process as early as the first draft of your requirements, right? Doesn't have to be ready. They don't want it to be ready. They don't want to be nice and with all of UX and UI and all that ready. Bring them in early. It will pay dividends in the long run.
Oh yeah. And the other part of that, and this is speaking to the fact that Lacework, it was really, really quite amazing and advanced under the hood. It's that I needed some time to actually understand what was going on under the hood, what the heck a composite alert even was, and the underlying machine learning that was going on underneath it, and get really deep into it because, like I said, the company that I was at prior to Lacework had no machine learning in it whatsoever.
Hmm.
And so I actually really had like a 3 year gap in my machine learning and AI knowledge because of the company I was at there, the one that I was at prior but got acquired. So I was still thinking in many ways of the detection rule set versus what we were
Hmm.
doing at Lacework, which was really a whole extra level above that. So it wasn't just, the regular type of either supervised or unsupervised machine learning that I was used to.
That's
So
awesome.
you got to know because I wouldn't have been able to necessarily say, oh, 2 weeks prior, what does this mean? Like I might have if I did it in crunch time, but it really gave me the time to triangulate and really understand what was going on uh, behind the curtain.
That's awesome. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I would also like to say I've definitely had some times where me and my PM were out of sync for,
Hmm.
no fault of anybody else's. It was just we didn't think about it. So they were telling me about a release, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks before it actually launched. And I go, wait, I don't even know that this is happening. Okay. Um, we can make this work, but it was definitely less than ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think we can make all kinds of things work, but the lesson here is bring your PMMs in early, work with them, use their input, because often how you go to market is as important as what you're building, right? Definitely solve the problem, but being able to solve the problem in a way that a customer understands that you have solved it is very important.
Yeah, for sure. And if you don't mind, I would love to give the audience an example with these next few slides of kind of what we've been doing with BeyondTrust.
Please go ahead.
Awesome. So for everyone out there, so BeyondTrust, it's a PAM or an IAM area of cybersecurity. So we really focus on identity security. And this is an example of what we're working on right now. And it's really starting with the fact that you need to show that you understand your audience. And it's not just about like we've talked about, it's not just, hey, we're going to give you a list of 4 features, but it's really around the fact that we understand that this is the problem. And the fact that this is what's going on, this is why we are going to be the best at solving it for you. And it's really about the outcome that we're delivering to really solve this particular pain point. And one of the biggest areas and challenges for our customers is the fact that they have too many tools. I think that this is pretty prevalent across the entire cybersecurity industry. But when it comes to this aspect and identity security in particular, what's keeping customers up at night is really the fact that there's all these different ways to get in. And CISOs, the board members, they're really worried about what am I missing? What don't I know about? And what we've done is we've done similar to what we did at Lacework, but for the cloud, we've done this for endpoint cloud, your SaaS procs, your identity provider tools. And what we're showing is true privilege, or really what are the ways that attackers can get in and what would they use if they were to get in, like which identity. And so we have this one, Amy Miller, and even though according to Active Directory, she doesn't have an admin account. Uh, Turns out there's all these other hidden ways or these true privilege paths that she could use or an attacker could use that Amy Miller has access to in order to get to the privilege of a global administrator. So this is something that is really powerful under the hood. We've been developing this, but at the end of the day, I'm not talking about the underlying machine learning. I'm talking about, hey, we get the problem and how does this help organizations? Because of the fact that if you don't have that visibility, you don't know what to protect.
Hmm.
And while you may have some, that means that you're only providing that partial protection to your organization. And that's just the start of it. So because of this underlying visibility, we have everything else around the platform that we're able to support and really take the action to really reduce the risk when it comes to those identity issues. So we're really excited about this. And this is, in many ways, the very short version of how we would talk about anything that we're going to be launching or really providing updates to.
So, Josh, tell me a little bit more about this problem. Well, not problem, about platforms versus features versus products versus portfolios. I guess, right? We have different PMs in different industries, software, non-software, cyber, and in many different areas, especially SaaS, we've seen this rise of platformization, and you're not selling a clear product or a feature with a clear value prop, but you're providing a platform. How has product marketing changed, and what advice would you have for product marketers or product managers who are working in platform, PMMs or PMs, how they need to think about their roles and how they need to think about their go-to-market strategies?
So the interesting thing about a platform is that as someone who transitioned from point product over to platforms, you really got to up level the message to how does this multi-product solution, for a lack of a better word, how does this deliver one or two key outcomes, and especially solving it at the business level. So with us, we're reducing risk and we're really helping with streamlining and really the operational efficiencies that an organization has. And those are just two of them. But what we would be doing in the past is, hey, we would say, hey, we're selling password safe to you. And it gives visibility to your credit and controls and password rotation, credentials and secrets, and we're very good at it. It's an extremely good product, and in many ways that would be enough. Uh, but if we're selling this platform aspect, we're not selling, hey, here's the three features of password safe, plus the three features of endpoint privilege management, plus the three features of identity security insights. So it's really around what might be the three use cases that are delivered, or what are the three big how-tos of how we're supporting that particular outcome that the business cares about. So that has been one of the biggest shifts, because if you were to go with, hey, here's all the features, you would be there all day and the customer's eyes would just glaze over. So that has been one of the biggest shifts. And for anyone that's out there, that's how I would recommend you do it too, because of the fact that at the end of the day, the person that holds the purse strings is going to be the one who cares about, okay, how does this deliver a better outcome than what I already have, or your competitor. So it's really important to not only understand what they care about, but how to present that in ways that the business cares about, because they got to release budget for it too.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when we try and position the value proposition of a platform, it's obviously going to be a collection of many things, collection of, like you said,
Yeah.
a multi-product solution. And all of my competitors also have multi-product solutions. And over time, that because I have so many benefits, the line gets blurrier between me and my other competing platforms. How do you differentiate between your platform versus others if all of them are pretty much talking about the same thing?
So at that point, you have to get further into your differentiating aspects. So if, let's say, for instance, our central value is around the fact that we're able to find far more service accounts, we're able to find the intent, and in many ways, it's the underlying technology built on machine learning. And I say that with a little bit of caution, because I know that if you just say, hey, we got AI or we got machine learning, there's a lot of people out there who are going to be really skeptical. So I did appreciate at the end of that Huntress blog, I think the third one was, yes, we have AI, but here's also the fact that AI doesn't solve all problems. You can't just throw it on there and say, hey, buy our product. I think it's also really important these days to say what kind of AI or ML that you have, so that people don't just think, hey, it's LLM or something that it's a white labeled, chat GPT or something. So being able to really back it up, not only with your technology or how it's going to help them do a better job with that technology, as well as if you can have statistics about, hey, we help customers, let's say, achieve compliance, 20 times faster, just purely as a statistic that I threw out there. That's also going to be really important because people need proof points. I love Yelp, I love Google reviews. Uh, why should I go to that movie versus that movie or product versus that product? They seem like they're the same on paper, especially if you flip them over. So they are going to say a lot of the same thing, but the proof is really going to be in that pudding when you really back up what you say um, with those really really key differentiators and the statistics back it up.
That's right. So you mentioned AI and LLMs. I have to ask you this, a slightly different tangent. With the rise of AI, specifically Gen AI and tools using Gen AI, how has your role as a product marketer changed?
Unfortunately or fortunately, I haven't been able to replace myself yet. So I check all
We
the
can all wish.
time. Yeah, I check all the time whether I can do my entire day's worth of work in like 15 minutes by just putting into ChatGPT or Claude or, name your LLM that's out there. What I do find though is that it's pretty decent for a first draft. Like I do like it if I say, hey, here's what I'm trying to talk about. Here's some inputs that I can give you. Like it's not private information because, we also have legal constraints. Like we can't just put customer data in there. We can't put proprietary information or content that's going to feed that, especially if it's the free version. One thing I really liked of what we did at Lacework is we had the paid version that Ryan just did an amazing job at building, so we could actually use that. But it was trained on data and content that we produced. So I thought that was really something cool that we were able to do there. But yeah, in my job right now, we we can look at it as a first draft, but um, we have filters and we also have basically AI plagiarism checkers because if you create something that's totally AI generated, it's actually going to one, people can tell. Like that's one, and it lowers your credibility. But two, Google actually can tell as well, and that's going to also
Mm.
cause you to rank lower for credibility reasons. And we want to make sure that we are a credible source for customers because they can go anywhere. We have to provide value to them that is original and not just generated by, a bot that sounds like it knows what it's talking about.
Yeah. Okay. What if I am trying to break into product management or product marketing? What are how can I use AI to help me?
I think what that can do is it can help you accelerate where to learn and what to learn.
Hmm.
So if you are, let's say, somewhere in the tech field, you can ask it, hey, what does good writing look like? Give me some good examples. What are some of the top uh, products that are out there based on, let's say, certain rankings or anything like that? And then that can help you go and know what to even go read. So once you're there, go read their websites, go read their blogs. For instance, if you go and check one of them out, it'll probably give you some good statistics, and you can say, "Hey, I want to go and make sure that I understand what does this actually tell me," and um, have the LLM explain maybe a product to you like year 5 or 10, or provide some analogies or something so that you really get it. And in turn, you will then become better because your technical understanding will be better. And you can start from that point, go on and write some blogs on your own, whether it's on LinkedIn, maybe you have a website, just get it out there and put out your opinions. And if you wanted to, do something that's kind of adjacent, hey, get into tech in some way. And if you're already there, like let's say you're an SE at some company, see if your company can have you uh, do some more writing or maybe even do some more talks. So
Hmm.
all of that's going to be able to help you just become better. And I think that's one of the big ways that AI can also help you, even if you're not using the AI for writing purposes.
Right, right. Okay. So as someone who's, in an executive position with a company, you interview candidates for your teams. How would you view someone who has a resume, who knows how to use AI tools? Do you think it's a nice to have, a good to have, a must have, or doesn't matter?
I think it's a really good to have because I think that they need to be prepared to be able to use it. And while, for instance, right now we don't use them, we are working on getting licenses to be able to use Copilot actually internally.
Hmm,
So our engineers, they get it right now. I'm trying to make
nice.
sure that my team gets it because one of the things that product marketers are expected to do here is really understand their product as their business.
Hmm,
So at that standpoint, they need to be able to understand, okay, what are the numbers? Why is this the way it is? And even though they have to in many ways do it manually and do it on spreadsheets, it's great because I know that Copilot can do those things. So if we can start plugging those into Copilot because we now have the CSV file, I mean, they're just going to be able to accelerate what they were doing prior. So I think it's going to be important to have. And I would love it if we're able to build like our own GBT, and then we can have each of our product marketers build either their own GBTs for their products or have it made in their voice so that we can start cranking out content even faster. So
that
it's
is,
something where I don't require it, but I'm
yeah.
going to be paying attention if they have it.
That is an amazing idea. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, very insightful. I didn't think of that. Um, this is a great discussion. We are over 45 minutes in, so I would, love to keep talking, but let us, bring this home with the key takeaways.
Yeah, for sure. So for everyone who maybe skipped to the end, go back and watch this from the beginning. But the three key takeaways, just to echo what I talked about earlier when, I started 2 weeks in, is again, collaborate early, collaborate often, and you're going to be really successful from that standpoint when it comes to launch time. Know your subject. While you may not be as technical as your product manager, you will benefit greatly by understanding the underlying technology, why that matters, and how it makes it different than what your competition has. And ultimately, that is what your customers care about. And third, start off with the business outcomes. Features are great. You need to know what they are, you need to know how they work, but the features support the outcomes, not the other way around. So with that, yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody out there. And sir, thank you especially for having me on. This was fantastic. And I can't wait to see what else you got going on. And I can't wait to share what else we have going on here at Beyond Trust.
That is awesome, Josh. Yeah, it's super awesome to have you. I think it was a great discussion. Um, I if anybody in the audience has any last minute questions, please send them in through QA. But while people might be doing that, what is one key advice, Josh, that you have for anyone looking to in this market, break into product management or product marketing? I see these as very associated fields. What is one key tip or advice you would want to give to them?
Let's see. So based on what I have seen, uh, breaking in, it's not a direct route. So I'm gonna actually take someone on my team, for example.
Hmm.
They actually were prior to being a product marketer, they were in product management. And before then, they actually had an internship and they had done some engineering and had done some analysis work. And it was really cool how they they saw open roles within the organizations that they were working at, and they talked to their manager, they talked to uh, the hiring managers for those teams. So the opportunities are there. You just might not get it right away, but if you
Hmm.
show value where you are, you can take the path to get to either a product management role and a product marketing role. And I will say the best ones, they have very varied experiences. So none of my team members none of them started off as product marketers. And in my opinion, that's what makes them so good, is because they have that cross-functional uh, uh, skill set and experience.
That's a great point. We even at Lacework, we had some amazing PMs who did not come through your traditional business analyst background, or your engineering background, right? We had people who are veterans in the army, who are from the military, folks who came from a sales engineering background and who were able to move. And that's what I like about both product management and product marketing is ultimately it's for people who are great problem solvers, who are creative, and who are able to apply those solving skills to a specific domain. In our cases, it's cybersecurity SaaS, but it could be other domains. So I think that's what I love is that it's a very malleable profession where you can move in, move out, move back in, and kind of keep doing that. I have some questions from the audience here. I want to run through those with you. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first one, thanks for sending those in. The first one is how important is domain or industry knowledge? If you don't have cybersecurity knowledge, can you actually do product management in that area? That is the first question.
So for product management, or was it product marketing?
Let's take both. Let me answer product management, and then I'll do product marketing for you. Can you do it? Absolutely, yes. Right. As a specific example, I work in platform product management. I happen to have a long career in cybersecurity, but I am hiring for people who don't necessarily have that. Right. I run, for example, the growth team, and a person who I hired recently on the growth team for PLG is not a cybersecurity person. Another example is someone I own the core user experience, the APIs, the integrations for our product, and that person is not a cybersecurity person. So you can definitely get into product management, specifically where it's not a specific feature, but more on platforms, and we have many more roles like those. You don't need to have the domain knowledge. Does it help? Absolutely. Is it required? No.
Yeah, and I would agree with that statement because I definitely know product marketers who did not come from the industry that they were covering, or the area of the product that they were covering, and they were great. And they were great because they were either good writers or communicators, or they were incredible learners. And they could take what product management said and really understood about the product and really tell an amazing story about it. So
Hmm.
that was something that, hey, like you said, you don't have to come in with that background information. Now, that being said, it doesn't hurt at all, because if you come in with that background information, you'll usually understand your customer a lot better, because either you've gotten those battle scars, or you know those customers like personally, or you might really understand, hey, here's the differentiating competitive factor about what makes your product different than another. I'll actually give an example. So uh, I know the EDR systems and I know the architectures of those really well. One of the products at Tanium, which I covered, it works differently, although at first glance it may seem like it's really similar to EDR. But
Hmm.
one of the big differences is because that architectural difference, it leads to far more visibility, because it's a direct line of communication rather than sending logs from the endpoint into, your central database, which by nature it's going to have some filtering in there because it's a log, and databases and storage cannot have unlimited storage. So that was one of the big differentiating factors of that. And there's also some control aspects that could do through the agent as well. So if you understand that and why that matters, then it's going to help you. Now, a person could have learned that in probably a week, but to have that background information about why that matters to, let's say, security analyst, or someone even higher above, again, that domain knowledge is going to be, it's going to be helpful when writing the content for it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, there's this, there's another question along the same lines is if you don't have this knowledge or being in the domain, how are viable employers even consider you? And um, let me take that one too, Josh, if you don't mind, because I have
Yeah,
my
go
own
on.
my own story there to share. So I think you need one of two things, or one of three things. You either need to be in the function but not in the domain. so you can be a PM, but not in security. Or you need to be in the domain as a practitioner, so in security, but not in the function, so not a PM. So you can be an SC, a SOC analyst, some other function. I was neither, actually. So I was an engineer working in software, and I was trying to break into product management. And for me, the way I did that was to obviously go to school to get my grad degree, but also take on personal projects, side projects that show that hey, I can be a good PM, I can be in this industry, that I can actually start solving some of these problems, and I was able to also target going after companies that don't necessarily require all those things. So if you are going for someone who absolutely requires, hey, I need 10 years of experience in this and you need to be a graybeard, that's not for you. Or you want to go for a startup that absolutely needs someone who's done it before, that's not for you. But there's this middle group or section or that sweet spot where they need a problem solver, uh, they probably cannot go and get the exact person who they want. So they're going to look a little bit around at someone who can help them. And that's the target set of companies you need to go after to break into the role. Once you break into the role, it's much more smooth sailing after that.
Yeah, I also agree with that aspect. And it's interesting because there is so much content out there that you can learn from that is either free or very low cost. So you don't need a CISSP to get into a security role. In fact,
Yeah, I don't have
I
one.
would, I would say, hey, it's great. It's a nice to have. It means that maybe your employer sponsored you, or maybe that, hey, you took that initiative yourself. But if it's for something that, hey, you're just trying to show that you put in the work, like when I see something on a resume that maybe it's a Udemy certification, maybe it's some other free one that maybe a university offers. I want to just see that you put in the work to
Mm.
try and improve yourself and invest in yourself. And if you have other instances of, hey, maybe you wrote something, and again, it doesn't have to come from the exact same industry. I at least want to see that, yes, you can competently write, you put in the work, you invest in yourself, and that you're trying to really level yourself up. So there's all sorts of ways to do it. It doesn't have to necessarily be, like I said, having like a CISSP or a CISM. And I have those certs. So,
Wow, I don't. That's awesome.
yeah, so it's something where, there's, I think, a lot of flexibility in how you can get in.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't think, personally, I don't think that I mean, it's good to have these, but you don't necessarily need those to get into or excel in these industries. So if anyone's like, hey, that's what's stopping me, it's not, right? But the fact that you can show that you self-invested in yourself, that you have a growth mindset, I think is really, really important. So that's, I guess, the fourth takeaway, which is have a growth mindset, keep learning, keep excelling, and you'll make it. So. That is awesome. That's all the questions that we have from the audience. That's all the questions I have. We are also at time. So, Josh, I want to say thank you so much for being on here. Thank you so much for sharing with us your knowledge. It was awesome chatting with you again. Um, any last words
Same here,
before we
man.
conclude?
No, this was amazing. So again, thank you for having me on. It was fantastic chatting with you. I've been looking forward to this all week. So uh, just thank you again. And thank you to everyone who tuned in, stayed on, and who's going to be watching this in the future. So I look forward to hearing from you too. If you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Feel free to go to our website. And happy to talk to you more about BeyondTrust, product marketing, or security in general. So feel free to reach out, and I hope to hear from you.
That is awesome. Please reach out to both Josh or myself on LinkedIn if you wanted to. You can also visit our website for products that count to learn more about product management. Lots of free resources on how to break in. But hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy this in the future if you're watching in the future. But we will catch you on the next one in April. Until then, thank you so much, and I'll see you around. Cheers.